Good morning, glorious people, wherever you are on our beloved earth. I wish you well. Welcome to my channel. It's called Drone Dark Corner. Today, I'm going to be talking about Class E Airspace on my series on various airspace. And my information only pertains to drone pilots. So I'm going to say it again. It pertains to drone pilots. I recently passed the FAA drone test with an acceptable score. It was a good score. It wasn't bad. It wasn't perfect, but it was acceptable. So, Class E Airspace, here's the pertaining to drone pilots only. Class E Airspace generally begins where golf ends. I'm going to go over that. Typically 700 feet or 1,200 feet above ground level, unless associated with an airport surface area. I'm going to go over all of that. Now I said, on this channel, for the most part, whenever we look at those sectional charts, and most people, when they go over this stuff on YouTube, the sectional chart is always two-dimensional. Today, you see I'm using my little program here, my Blender program, so I'm going to try to give us a visual 3D view. But I'm going to also still cover the 2D view, because you're going to have to do that on that test. So let's jump right in. Let me see, go to the top. So here's our top view. I'll zoom in. Now, one thing it took me the longest time to notice when I was studying for the FAA test. I want to go over some stuff before I even mention talking about the Class E Airspace. These numbers right here. Numbers right here. 28. There's 28. There's really, most of the time when you see those numbers, always numbers should be in the hundreds. So you tack on 2 zeros. I put my 2 zeros in here. So that's 2,800 feet. I put my 2 zeros here. And that's 2,800. What it really means, it's the highest artifact that may be in that area, or the highest object is that tall. So in this area up here, the highest object you may encounter is 2,800 feet, and it's the same over here. The tallest object in this little region over here is 2,800 feet. Now when I was studying, I don't know if it's MSL or AGL. But it don't matter, because you know the tallest one is 2,800 feet. Oh, since it's ground, it may be AGL, because it's on the ground. So 2,000 feet above ground level. So AGL means, for the new people, above ground level. And what that basically means, people, you know, when we're on the ground, the surface change. One part of an area is low and the next part is high. In the low area, you may have that 400 feet. Then you go to the high area, you have another 400 feet, which is taller. So that's the ground level. It's the height from where where you standing at. That's it. All right, in MSL, I'm about to go over that too. Let me fix this. The graph move. Let me try to get it perfect again. The MSL, I'm only doing this for the new people, not the veterans. Because when you're talking about measuring something from the surface, it's usually going to be an AGL or MSL. So for my new people, MSL means mean sea level. And I'll give you an example here. It's not a sea, but I'll give you an example. If this was the sea, if this was an ocean or sea, my height is taken from there. And on the planet Earth, all oceans or all seas, they start at the same level. So basically, when you get a height from there, it's consistent whether you're in Africa, Asia, China, Japan. If you go from mean sea level, the height is the same on the planet. AGL is different because it's on when you're on that solid ground. All right, now we can delve delve into the talking about Class E Airspace from a 2D and 3D view. Like I said, when I did all my studying, everything was mostly 2D. Some I saw some 3D videos, but it was like 90% studying those sectional charts. And it don't matter what country you're in, you're gonna get that sectional chart. But it's good for the new people to have a 3D representation, because that will help me out. Because now when I say a sectional chart, I have a 3D image in my mind of how it looks. Alright, so this Class E, I'm put over here where it's nice and clear. Class E Airspace. Whether you're a pilot, a helicopter pilot, or a drone pilot, the airspace the same for everybody. Whether you're using IFR or FFR, it's still the same rules for everyone. Alright, so let's delve in. Now, this is not going to be a long video because Class E is pretty straightforward. Right here, right up here, on the tip of this, right out here, right on the tip, no matter all the way around, this airspace, all this airspace out here is 1,200 feet AGL. All of this out here, 1,200 feet, AGL out here. And it took me some time to understand Class E because of them numbered feet AGL. But when we get inside, it's different. So inside of the Class E, let me circle some more. Inside of the Class E, the numbers change to 700 feet AGL. This is 700 feet AGL. The other airports don't have those type of little restrictions AGL. So keep that in mind. So outside of the border, 1,200 feet AGL. Inside is 700 feet AGL. So technically, but still, and the most important thing with this, technically, you can fly your drone inside Class G airspace, but it's a big but. It's a big but for me. Here's the but. Whenever I see my airport right here, Garrison Airport, if I'm near airport, I'm gonna call and make sure. So even though it's 700 feet AGL, and I forgot to say something to you. So this is now, when it goes up to that 1,200 feet AGL, that's Class G airspace. Class G. Class G. And when it has that 700 feet up here, 700 feet inside, that's still Class G. Inside Class G, because it go up to 700 feet. Up to 1,200 feet. So in that little area below 1,200 feet, it's Class G. Inside, below 700 feet, Class G. And then above it, so above the 1,200, that's when you go into Class E. That's when you hit Class E. When it's above it, you in E. When I go above the 700, I'm in Class E. It took me some time to learn that, to wrap that around my head. Now, since it's Class G inside, technically, you probably can still fly your drone here. But when it's this airport right here, I'm gonna always call for authorization. I don't want to hear nothing if something happened. So I still, for me, like I was saying, for me myself, even though it's 700 feet, I still like to call the air traffic control for authorization. That's what you should always do. Better safe than sorry. So keep that in mind. Better safe than sorry. But on a test, it's just going to ask you What's inside? Basically, what's inside, you better say 700 feet AGL. What's outside on the test? 1,200 feet AGL. It's not going to ask you about should you call it air traffic control. It may ask you that, but so this is an airspace. So this is airspace, and with that tower right there, I like to call. I like to call. Whenever I see an airport, I'm calling. Okay, now I covered the 2D part. Now let's get into the 3D part. After I erase all this little stuff out here. Let me erase this, and then we get right into the 3-dimensional part of it. Okay, good. Like most of it's gone. Alright, so now I'm basically gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna have a 3D view of it now. Let me flip this around. Let me click over here. I can get rid of this sign over here now. I can hide that. Hide it. Let me move over to the left so I can have a lot of writing space. I like writing to the right. Now, zoom in a little bit more. Okay, I got enough space. So now, outside. So now you can see in 3D. I'm outside. Oh, I gotta click on my annotate pen. I'm outside. So that's 1,200 feet AGL. And outside, here's my 700 feet. You know, it's roughly here. But I'm not gonna worry about the 700 feet. I'll worry about that when I get inside. I'll worry about that when I'm inside. Cause you know that 1,200, it covers the 700 feet. It covers it. But you know, technically for us, when we fly our drones, we right here. We at 400 feet AGL, or for the metric people, 120 meters. That's where we fly at by law. Or that's what they like to have out, geo-fencing right there. If you want to go high, you know you got to call. Now, inside, now I'm inside. Here's my 1,200. So I'm going to approximately put my 700 right here. Inside here. And you see I still got that airport right there. There's my airport. Inside. Now I have my 700 feet AGL. But like I said, people, even though technically I can still, and it's class G right here. And oh wait, I should put my G, I don't want to put my G on the top. Below the 700 feet, I'm in class G. Over here for 1,200 feet, below that, I'm in class G airspace, or the airspace where we can fly in. I can fly my drone in here, but for me, like I said earlier, since there's an airport here. Now, about the Class E airspace, now they may not be as busy. I know why they got the 700 feet in here. Because you know, B is the busiest, the next comes C, the next comes D, and E last. So Class E airspace, they don't get as much traffic as those others. But since I'm near airport, I still want to call the AT, Air Traffic Control Tower, and I still want to get authorization, just to be on the safe side, just to let them know I'm there. So I get on my CTAF and call in. And since it's Class E now, so I can erase this air. So remember, I'm only calling air traffic control because there's an airport right there. I may not have to, but I like to be prudent and safe for everyone's sake. And above that 700 is Class E. Above the 700, then I'm in my Class E airspace. Above my 1,200, then I'm in Class E. And Class E and G, from my research, Class E and G, that's the most area when it's airspace. And it's like Class E works hand in hand with Class G. So that's it, my good people. I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration. I hope I was understandable in explaining the Class E airspace and how it has a symbiotic-like relationship of the Class G. Other airspaces, they don't have that relationship. So I hope you learned a little about Class E airspace and where you can fly your drones. Till the next time, drone family, peace.